Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Dowd here, earlier than usual, so I can bring you your daily dose of tech and geekery, but then head downtown for some 5G fun. Sprint is rolling out its 5G network in Sweet Home Chicago, and they asked little old me to give it a look. I'll be sure to tell you all about it tomorrow, but for now, it is July 11th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. What if you made a Switch that didn't switch? That's the question that Nintendo is asking, and the answer is, well, it would be $100 cheaper, and in general, I usually like that answer. Nintendo unveiled the Switch Lite yesterday, which is a $200 video game console designed specifically for mobile gaming. What that means is the Switch Lite will not plug into a TV, and the joycons are built into the body of the device. Plus, it loses the kickstand, but let's be honest, most people probably lost that thing in the first few months anyway. The new Switch is smaller with a 5.5-inch screen at the same 720p resolution. It's also a bit lighter at 0.61 pounds compared to 0.88 pounds for the Switch. Battery life is reportedly better, up to 20 to 30%, which is kind of a must for a console designed for mobile gaming. The Switch Lite also loses a lot of the fringe benefits of the OG Switch. There's no IR blaster or rumble packs in the Joy-Cons, and you still can't connect Bluetooth audio. Separate Joy-Cons can still pair with the device for multi-person gaming. On a 5.5-inch screen, I don't see that going too well. Plus, you can still pair Pro controllers. Overall, in my humble opinion, this is definitely more of a value rather than the new worse Switch that detractors are crying about. I mean, I'm not a gamer, as I've often said, but I really don't care about rumble packs or detachable game controllers. I think it really sucks that this doesn't attach to a TV because honestly, what's up with that? It's a Switch, for crying out loud. But my main concern here gives me plenty of pause: the built-in Joy-Cons. My son bought a Switch almost 2 years ago, so as far as mobile devices go, it's on the old side, and I'll be the first to admit that. But after he bought the Switch, within the first 8 months or so, the Joy-Cons started to glitch out, as he calls it. Basically, the joysticks on the Joy-Cons became very unreliable. They'd move when he wasn't pushing them, they'd not move when he did. Stuff like that. We went through a replacement set of Joy-Cons even faster, to the point where, for the past year, my son has exclusively used a Pro controller to connect to his Switch. He doesn't even keep the OG Joy-Cons attached. His Switch is basically just a tablet with a dock now. Now, the Switch Lite has no dock and can't connect to a TV, and has non-removable Joy-Cons, for which Nintendo has done nothing to prove that the build quality will be better. And there's not even a kickstand to stand up this console and use a Pro controller. That makes me very nervous. But of course, my daughter still wants one, and the fact that this becomes available 3 days after her birthday on September 20th has her convinced that she's getting one for her birthday, and spoiler alert, if she is, it's not coming from mom and dad. Although, it would be the first present I bought for my kids that would be tax deductible. Well, anyway, I have a few months to think about it, but for now, it's time for the roundup! Apple pushed out an update to users' computers that removed the hidden web server at the heart of the Zoom vulnerability that we talked about earlier this week. This came as a relief to users who no longer had to worry about this bug until they realized, wait, Apple can push out silent updates to Macs? Like silent? Like no user prompting at all? That's kind of messed up, yo. But it totally follows the Apple way of thinking, just pretend like nothing happened. But it's still messed up. Graham Stevens, a cybersecurity specialist in the UK, developed a skin for his MacBook, which allows him to put any stickers he wants onto the lid of the MacBook and preserve them when it's time to resell them later. I never got into the whole sticker on the laptop thing, it was just never me. But apparently Stevens is exploring the idea of selling these MacBook condoms, so if that's something that interests you, check out the link in the show notes. Facebook is looking to inject some dollar bills into its Oculus VR platform, and one way it's looking to do that is by purchasing exclusive rights to VR versions of popular games like Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell. That's a good way to market VR headsets, which have seen lukewarm adoption at best. So will leaping the roofs of buildings through Paris or sniping enemies from long range provide the killer app that VR is looking for? I mean, not for me, but I could potentially see how these might be cool, as long as you don't have a lot of living room furniture to run into, that is. Waymo, the self-driving car company, announced that its simulated cars have driven 10 billion with a B simulated miles, which gives me simulated warm feelings about the future of simulated self-driving cars. Seriously, 10 billion miles is a number that sounds really great, but show me a computer that can simulate the weird crap that any human is capable of doing at any given time. Simulated driving has its place, but there comes a point where the rubber has to literally hit the road and you can stop bragging about your simulated miles. Nature.com has a long article about the amount of sand in the world and how useful it is in modern culture. I'll give you the TLDR. Sand is used in basically everything, more sand is mined every day than fossil fuels, and there isn't enough sand in the world at the rate it's going. Desert sand isn't the same, it's too smooth to be useful for modern applications. The best sand comes from riverbeds, which make up less than 1% of total land area in the world. So, long story short, you might feel good about driving your Prius and collecting rain in barrels, but your next home might not be made of brick because there won't be any sand to hold it together. Yeah, it's kinda messed up. And finally, we get a cute little story from a Twitter user who dropped her AirPod off of a subway platform and was surprised to still find it there later in the day. The story of rescuing this lost little AirPod is a cute little Twitter thread. Spoiler alert, the AirPod was rescued, so that's nice. Of course, it just goes to show that AirPods are still terribly designed and make you look stupid. But who am I to judge? You do you. So that is going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and don't forget to tell your friends about digitdailypod.com. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.